Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you all the things you need to know to completely ace your first year of dental school. So if you're new here, hi, my name's Faris. I'm a third year dental student currently studying at KCL, and I'm making this video because I really wish I had something like this before I started dental school. There's so much you need to know, so many little tips that I've learned through, trial and error, and I really hope that this video helps you guys if you're applying to dentistry or have got a place this year. So if you do find this video useful, please do like and subscribe, and tell me what dental school you're going to down below in the comments. First and foremost, you're probably watching this video if you've already got an offer for dentistry this year, and if you've done so, well done, and I hope you find this really useful. Applying and getting into dental school is a very long and arduous process, so you should be very proud of what you've achieved. However, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you haven't quite got the offer for dentistry this year, don't be disheartened. It's actually very normal not to get in the first time, and you really shouldn't be that upset. I'm going to be making a video going over what you should do if you haven't quite got in the first time, and I'll leave that linked above here somewhere when I've made it. So don't be discouraged and watch this video as a bit of inspiration for when you do eventually get that offer. So my biggest tip by far is to make sure that you get organised when you start uni. Everyone says that the jump from A levels to university is so massive and it's so much more difficult, but I really couldn't agree less. I'm not saying that uni isn't harder, but I think the reason why it's so difficult isn't necessarily the content, but rather because of the fact that you have to become way more independent and find a new way to organise yourself. So I really do want to stress how important it is to be organised, and it's going to make your life so much easier, and it's just going to make your first year a lot more fun. Bear in mind, you have to be really organised with a load of different things in dental school. It's not just coming on your lectures on time, you also need to keep up with all the different emails, practical sessions, clinics, and so much more. And a lot of the time it can be really overwhelming. So now I'm just going to cut to the chase and give you guys my absolute favourite tips when it comes to being organised, and the things that I've learned from, maybe missing a few sessions and stressing about exams when I really shouldn't have been. First of all, I'd say make sure that you check your emails daily. I cannot tell you the number of times that I've nearly missed a session or missed an important assignment because I just haven't checked my emails. Emails are such a common form of communication in university, and you find out so much information through them. So really do make sure that you make it a ritual and habit to check your emails every single day. This is something that's really easy to do, and it's going to make you way more organised and stay on top of all the different pieces of information that are given to you at dental school. Next up, I'd really recommend using Google Calendar. Now, this app, this whole system has completely saved me over the years. A lot of the time your universities will give you a timetable on their different portals and platforms, and it can be a little bit tedious and difficult to look through, but by having Google Calendar, a lot of the time you can download these timetables and integrate them into the Google Calendar system. Trust me, this is an absolute lifesaver, especially for someone like me. I find it really hard to keep on top of things, and I find it a bit difficult to actually, know when things are meant to be done. So having this Google Calendar and always checking my emails are both really good tips to help me be way more organised. And my last tip to be super duper organised is to make sure you make a to-do list. Now, it sounds super basic, but a lot of the time the simple things are what make the biggest difference. When you make a to-do list, it helps you categorize the things that you need to get done for the day, and kind of gives you mini goals to achieve throughout the entire day. I really like writing out to-do lists because it gives me a little dopamine rush every single time I cross out a different task that I've done, and it helps you stay motivated throughout a day, especially when you have a lot to do. All of these little tips combined are going to make you way more organized and make your first year an absolute breeze. Trust me, I learned the hard way. I remember being at Christmas and being about 40 lectures behind, having a summative exam in a few weeks' time, and I really had to cram. So learn from my mistakes. Now, my next big tip is to make sure that you get the older years resources. Now, you need to understand that everyone in the years above you has gone through the exact experience that you're going through now. They've done the hard lectures, they've done all the boring stuff, and they've worked out what's the most important thing to know for your exams. On top of this, they spent the countless hours making notes, making diagrams, making questions, etc. So just use those resources instead of making brand new notes yourself. There's always a wealth of resources everywhere you go, either in Google Drives, Dropboxes, random PDFs people make. You really need to just make the effort to go and find these resources, get to know some old ears, talk to them. I promise you, they don't bite, they'll just try and help you out. Please do make the effort to get these notes, and please do make the effort to get these resources, because it's going to save you so much time. Stop wasting time remaking notes that have already been made. You're not going to write some amazing academic paper on something that's been taught a million different times. Just use the notes that have already been made and make sure that you use your time a lot more efficiently. And this leads on to my next point, which is probably my most controversial, and that is to stop taking notes. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me with this, and they might think that, how can you say you're going to go to university and not make notes? How can you even pass your exams? But trust me, you really don't need to make notes at university. And before you do click off this video or leave a little dislike, just listen to me and listen to my logic. Now, let me give you a typical scenario of a first year student. What will happen is you'll go to all your different lectures, you're going to write down every single thing the lecturer says, you're going to say, oh, this is super duper important to know, I need to learn this random enzyme, this random blah. And trust me, 99.9% of the time, all you're doing is literally rewriting things that they've got on their PowerPoint PowerPoint slides, or summarizing things that you can easily find in a textbook or other resources. Additionally, the act of making notes doesn't help you retain that information at all. So what is the point? You need to employ something called active recall, and you really need to optimize your time. Bear in mind that dentistry can be quite an intense course, so you really need to make sure that you use every minute wisely. If you want to find out more about active recall, I'll link some videos down below so you can understand what it is. But just to basically summarize, it's this idea that you should be actively utilizing your mind to learn the information you've been given. So for example, things I recommend are things like using the notes that are already in drives, using the resources that are already out there instead of remaking all these notes. And honestly, just do as many questions as possible. You'll find these questions on different drives, you can find them on different Quizlets, you can make them yourself. There's just so many ways that you can do and make questions that are going to make your life so much easier. So let me go through a little example just in case you're a bit confused. Let's say you've gone to a lecture on dental caries and your lecturer is talking about the difference between caries affected dentine and caries infected dentine. Now, instead of paraphrasing everything they say and writing down every little detail about the different types of dentine, which you can probably just find on the PowerPoint slides, you can look in a drive, identify those notes, make questions, and test yourself on the differences. Additionally, you can go onto different websites like Quizlet where there are already pre-made questions based on these topics. People have this weird mentality where they're like, oh no, I need to revise everything off by heart, learn every single thing before I test myself. But that's just such a waste of time. You're never going to fully understand the topic. However, through questions, you can identify what parts you're weak at or the parts that you don't fully understand and make your revision so much more effective. Now, I just want to clarify, you still can make notes and get very, very high grades. I know a lot of people that do that, but for me, I just don't really think it's an efficient use of your time. Just because you're spending more time on something does not mean that the quality of the work is any better. And if after all this you're still a bit nervous about not making notes, that's absolutely fine. Maybe try and just change the way you take notes. Instead of writing down everything, summarize the key points and make it into different headers so that you can research them later and find questions relating to these topics. Now, moving away from that controversial topic, let's go into something a bit nicer. And that is to make sure that you work with your friends and colleagues. Now, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses, but working with others will help you patch up those weaknesses and improve on those strengths. Try and find a group of friends that you get along with and are as driven as you or even more driven. And organize study sessions. Go over different topics that you find difficult, go over topics that you think you find easy and teach them to other people. By doing this, you're really going to improve your understanding and in the process help some other people that you care about. Additionally, when you work with others, there's a sense of urgency to get work done. You're not just relying on your own willpower and motivation because you have others around you that are trying to drive you and trying to get you to work hard. And also you kind of feel a little bit guilty when everyone else is doing the work and you're not, so it gives you a bit of group motivation to get work done. And my final tip is to have fun. Now, this one's a little bit more lighthearted and a bit less study focused because it is really, really important to have a good work-life balance. Honestly, first year is a year to enjoy yourself and enjoy the wonders and opportunities that you get in university. There's so many things that you can do in university, that being socializing with different people, joining different societies, learning a new hobby. Don't just sit at home and think you need to study all the time and force yourself into thinking that dentistry is this super duper hard degree that has no social life. Remember, university isn't just work, work, work. You need to find people that you enjoy hanging out with, have a lot of fun, and enjoy yourself when you're at uni. You're never going to get this time again, so really do make sure that you have a great time in your first year because the years only get harder from here. Take every single opportunity you can and make sure that you really, really push yourself and try and learn new things about yourself. So I really hope that these tips were useful and help you succeed in your first year at dental school. If you want to see more tips and more videos on dentistry, please check out the videos here, and also check out my socials below if you want to contact me. Hope you enjoyed and thank you for watching.